Welcome back to another episode of Recovery Life. My name is Latoya and we're back. So today's guest, you might be a little surprised. I think you've seen her a couple of times or maybe not. Let me just introduce her. Hi, I'm your guest today. I wanted to do something a little different today, and that is I wanted to share with you a story. Like when we were younger, most of us had like an imaginary friend, or we built an imaginary company, or we had all this imaginary land or in our bedrooms. And so when I was a young person, I made my mother's Christmas tree box like this ultimate other side of life. Like literally, I never got in the box, but every character that was in my thoughts and as my imaginary friends lived in this Christmas tree box. And I used to even charge like a fee, like candy, a piece of candy, with the promise that people could visit the land that was in that Christmas tree box. And the reason I brought that up is because that land that I created was my safe space, and I used to go there all the time when I was, wanted to just escape from the reality that I actually lived in sometimes. And I have been going on these tours with my book, Can You See Me? And the conversations that I have been having with people were exactly about that, about feeling invisible and creating a safe space and knowing where you belong and creating your own journey and knowing what reality is safe for you to be in. A lot of times we create these alternate environments that we feel make us emotionally and mentally safer, and we forget that that's not the real life place that we belong. So today I want to talk about like living in your truth and being a part of the reality that makes you feel safe and making it real, right? So my book starts on the journey of when I was a little young girl. And it talks about the outcome being addiction, but not everybody's outcome is as extreme as using drugs or becoming an alcoholic. Sometimes it's cutting, sometimes it's shopping, it can be overeating, it could be just anything that we do to escape our reality. And so I've been going on a book tour, and I wanted to say first and foremost, thank you to the communities. This community has supported me and my inner child so much. I mean, just this weekend, I was at the New London Library, and the welcome there was so amazing. And I just really want to say thank you to all of the staff at New London Library for welcoming me and my little girl, my inner child, and our readers to your library and your community room. It was absolutely fabulous, and I had an amazing time. And I wanted to personally say thank you for having us. This is just the beginning of our book tour, and I wanted to say thank you to Majorie Temple for supporting me and for showing up and giving me the blessing and coming and talking about the book and being open-minded to know that I am an imperfect, perfect child of God. I still say bad words. I go to inappropriate concerts. I listen to bad jokes, and I am not so far floating above that I'm not able to see eye to eye with someone who is suffering, and that matters a lot on this journey that I'm on. I also wanted to personally say thank you to Recovery 12, which is another organization that supports our addicts in recovery, and they were there for me, and they have supported this walk for me, and they've given me access to be able to have talks and communicate with people who feel invisible and are looking to find a new way to cope other than using drugs. I've been very vocal about my recovery, and I'm going to continue to be that way because I wanted you to have a face behind the book. And I want you to know that I am going to be as transparent in these talks and these book signings as if you have pages that weren't even in the book. If you have the question, I will answer that question for you. But this is, again, something I wanted to say that I appreciate the way my community is embracing this for me, because the book is about a 7-year-old little girl who felt invisible, who went through a lot of abuse and lost a lot. And not again, it's not always going to be as drastic as that. You can come from a 2-parent home with a lot of money and you can go to the best colleges, but if your parents never stop to say good job or I'm proud of you, sending me off to college might cause me to feel some kind of way when it comes to dealing with the realities of life and about these people who come and they give you this side of life that might be more fun than just going to school and looking at books and becoming our greatest version of ourselves. If the people that matter to us the most have not stopped to say good job or gave you a hug, accolades matter a lot. My love language is affirmations. You guessed it. And so I like to be told good job or simply thank you. I think that those things mattered a lot. And because as a young girl, I didn't get much of that, I give it to anybody that I encounter. I don't make them overly uncomfortable with overloading them with compliments because that's kind of annoying. But what I do is if they do something great, I acknowledge it and I say that I appreciate you and I let people know that you did good with that, because if we're not telling people that they're good at something, then they have to find out the hard way using the wrong things, that they're not good at using drugs or drinking either. You know, it takes them away from their family and their goals and their mission. If you have not read my book, Can You See Me? Is There Anyone There? It is a detailed journey for you to understand the mind of a young girl and her journey into active addiction, but also the hope that comes along with it, showing you how she made it out. There were so many people along this journey that I'm so glad that they never gave up on me, that they believed that there was a light in me that belongs in the world and it was created to shine amongst the others, right? And I say amongst the others because there are so many just like me who feel invisible, who have made it to the top and still don't know what their purpose is in life. And guess what? Just because you're a CEO or you own a lot of stuff, it doesn't mean that you feel like you have arrived. There are some people that are emotionally incapable of feeling joy, and that is very sad. But in my book, it gives you the freedom to relate to me whether you ever smoke crack or overdose on alcohol or not. It tells you, and each book is made uniquely for each reader to identify with something in them that needs to be seen. It's not a good feeling to feel invisible in a room full of people. Mental health is real. We have a lot of people that are walking around in their own minds and they're feeling isolated and they're feeling held hostage in their own heads because they are afraid to share what's going on in there because they don't want to be laughed at, mocked, ridiculed, or not believed. Because again, we go back to that reality that we may have created for our safe space. And some people just don't know how to get out of it once they're in there. I would like to be able to be a part of those conversations. At the beginning of this book tour, I was invited to go to the New London High School. That was one of the most phenomenal parts this far of my book journey. I was in a classroom with teenagers who never probably put their phone down, let alone put their phone down to listen to what I, the author, had to say. I started my book talk off with, I'm a product of an alcoholic mother, and the phones went down simultaneously. I had the attention of every kid in that room. And I want to tell you this, if you don't know what's going on in your kids' lives or in their minds, get them in a book talk with me. I have this clever way of making them want to talk. Because again, I don't flow on air. I'm very relatable. I love to have conversations that are reality-based. And the reality-based means whatever is happening in the now, whatever they consider their reality, I know how to visit. I don't have to pull them out and say that's not real or that's not right. I know how to be invited as a guest in their reality, and I know how to hear them out. Those are the people you want in your life. This is the reason I wrote this book, Can You See Me? Because a lot of times, there's a lot of people around you that cannot be seen, even though you can physically, with your eyes, see them. You have no idea what they're emotionally going through. And so this journey that I am asking you all to take with me is one that I don't want to stop, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to go to schools. I'm going to go town to town, and I am going to embrace your children, your grandmothers, your aunts, uncles, friends, family members, and even some of the people you don't like. I am going to be there, and I'm going to show them that they are not alone and that we recover together, whether it be mental health, whether it be addiction, whether it be shopping, whether it be sex, whether it be porn. Everybody has the right to know that they're not alone and that we do recover. I came in here today because I wanted to make it very obvious that you are appreciated. I don't care if it's a one-on-one conversation or if it's 100 people. You were going to get the same 100% transparent version of Latoya, because my inner child is so happy that you all have been embracing us the way you have, and that you have been at the front row for me. And when I was a young girl, I used to run track, and I also played in plays, and I was a part of field day, and the seats where family members were supposed to once sit were always empty. And I want to say to you, thank you, because you have not left me sitting alone at one of these book signings. The seats have not been empty. You have been there for me, and you have supported this journey that I'm on, and you have asked the questions. You have asked the difficult questions. One of the questions that I get a lot is, how does your mom feel? How does your family feel? And I will say they're very supportive of my journey, and they're very supportive of my healing inner little girl who is now reaching out into the community to help other people with inner child issues. Again, it does not make you weak. It does not make you different. It makes you you. If you think for 1 minute that because you're powerful and you own things and you have all these things, that your inner child is not existing, that's not a good thing, because your inner child does exist. I can do some hardcore work, but I love to binge watch SpongeBob. And I love to cop a squat and eat Lorna Doones with milk and just chill out. And I don't want to make hard decisions. I take what is called no human contact days, which means I don't make any decisions. I don't talk to anyone about anything that matters. It's only about me rebooting and getting myself back aligned with my reality that I need to be in, which is facing off with my inner self. It is a beautiful feeling when the two of you become one. It is a beautiful feeling when you know that you both can actually exist together. I remember the day that me and my inner child came together as one, and we made it happen. And it's so nice to have us not split on decisions and rather I feel safe, because at one time, she didn't think that I was qualified to make us safe because I made very bad choices. Whether it had been in relationships or situations that I placed us in, she didn't trust my judgment. But I can tell you today, a very healed Latoya is trusted with the inner child Latoya. And June 27th, God willing, I will celebrate 14 years of recovery. 14 years. I am also a certified addiction counselor. I go into our communities and I talk to our sick and suffering people. I don't mind stopping to have a conversation with people with signs. I want to give love to all those who don't believe they're lovable, who think that they're not seen. Because I see you. I absolutely see you, and I absolutely love you, and there's a lot of us like me. So I wanted to do this very briefly. This is not going to be our regular 1.5 an hour segment. I said 1/2 an hour, and it sounded like it was going to be longer. But I wanted to just come here today, and I wanted to say thank you. And that is from the bottom of my heart. I have a lot more book signings on the calendar. As they get closer, I will reveal them to you, what locations we'll be in. Again, I wanted to say thank you to New London Public Library. I wanted to say thank you to Majory Temple. I wanted to say thank you to Recovery 12, who hosted a massive book signing for me on February 28th, which was the kickoff for the book. I want to say thank you to SEC TV. They always get it right with me, like literally. I have been with them for 12 years. And I have been getting this out there about the recovering community, and they're so supportive of our recovery community. And I really wanted to just say thank you to them. I want to say thank you to my husband, Joseph Pemberton, who is always with me and always motivates me to be my greatest version of myself. And my sponsor, Leah, who no matter what is always motivating me to be my very best self and to face people head on and not to be afraid of the truth. Another thing that recovery does is it fills you with integrity. And so when you tell the truth, you only have to tell it once, even if it does hurt. I wanted to say to you all, I love you. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Recovery Life. Ciao.